Section 1 of Diary of a Suicide. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lee Smalley. Diary of a Suicide by Wallace E. Baker. Section 1. Forward. On September 28, 1913, Mr. B. Russell Herts of the International received the following letter. New York, September 27, 1913. Mr. B. Russell Herts, care of International Magazine, New York City. Dear Mr. Herts, under separate cover I am sending you a record of a young man who is about to commit suicide. My only object is that it may help, if published in part or whole, to ease the way for some who come after. If you will kindly read it through, especially the latter part, you will be able to judge whether you care to make any use of it. If not, kindly mail same to Mr. Toronto, Ontario. I have cut out references to places and people here and there for their sake, because naturally I cannot be worried about myself after death. Thanking you for giving this matter your attention, I remain . I do not sign this, but you may verify my death by communicating with Mr. , whom I am writing today so that he may look after my effects in New York. The body of a well-dressed young man was found off Manhattan Beach, September 28th. In his pockets a torn photograph of Strindberg and receipts for 3 registered letters were found. These receipts were traced to Mr. Herts and to friends in Toronto, one of whom identified the body on October 2nd as that of Wallace E. Baker. He was buried on October 3rd in Evergreen Cemetery, Brooklyn. Note: in cutting out his references to places and people, Baker marred some of the text. These excisions are indicated by dots, dashes, or stars. The Glebe is indebted to Mr. Herts and the International for the permission to publish the diary. The Diary of a Suicide. January 26, 1912. It is with mingled feelings of hope, discouragement, joy, and pain that I begin the second book of my diary. My hope springs from the fact that my outlook seems to be clearer ahead. The old uncertainty is more in the background, but there is another side to it all. My discouragement comes from my constant feeling of tiredness, less evident in the evening and for a while at night, but exceedingly strong during every afternoon with few exceptions. This has resulted in my weak yielding to weakness at night, and only last night, after my confidence that I had gained a certain mastery, I was overcome. This was partly from the fact that I worked at the office until nearly 10 o'clock, charging a supper with wine to the firm. Although I drink very little, now and again I have gone out and taken a decent meal with wine to get away from the monotonous boarding-house fare. A small bottle which I nearly emptied, cheap wine, resulted in making me feel good. I have never been under the influence of liquor more than to feel good, never without full possession of my faculties, but on the rare occasions when I have taken a little I have sometimes noticed a weakening of the faculties, a sort of lack of moral restraint. I had enough last night to weaken for a time my newfound resolutions, but the succeeding absolute disgust and worry led me to believe that I was not wrong in thinking that the struggle is now on a higher plane. My salary was increased at the first of the year to $22.50 a week. Although glad of this, my old-time pleasure at the receipt of more money each pay day is lacking. Money I must have to live. Further than that, it seems a pitiful waste of time to spend one's life in a mad endeavor to obtain wealth at the price of all that counts. Havana, Cuba, February 29, 1912. Leap year, and a good opportunity to enter on a bigger fight. I must date my beginning this time as February 18, being the day after my last fall from grace. The week and a half since, however, makes me feel confident once more, despite that for 3 or 4 days I have been without a night's rest, owing to stomach trouble and the nervousness thereby engendered, but this is nothing unusual, that is, the loss of sleep, for it is long since I have had a real good night's rest, and I know a crisis is approaching, and I must get rested ere I collapse. I have read during this time Ibsen, the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?